Well. The draft is now over and behind us. Free agency now over and behind us for the most part. And we pretty much have our roster pretty set. Although, of course, there'll be tweaks here and there. There may be more signings. But as of now, we pretty much know what we got. And a lot of people are upset, in particular, about this Arian Smith fella. So what we're going to do is take a look at a typical RPO play that's going to be in our playbook that is going to illustrate how we're going to use Arian Smith. Now, on this channel, we deal with data analytics. We deal with playbooks. We deal with film study. We look at the news. We look at the financial picture. We deal with the cap. We do it all. And so some people say, what are you doing with this data analytics stuff, Frankie, with these spreadsheets? And then other people say, what are you doing looking at these film study? You got to give us more plays than that. We need 500 plays. So we like to take a look at everything. So if you're into that sort of stuff, stick with me in this video. If you're not into all of that in the big picture, then get out of here. And also, I'd like to let you know that I created a couple of more levels to the exclusive inner circle group. So if you thought, well, I'd like to join Frankie, but that's a little expensive, isn't it? Well, I created an inexpensive option. You may want to check that out. And also, if you want to support big time, you can go up to the high level and support old Frankie that way. So you can check that out with the join button down below. But now let's go into a playbook and see what's the type of play that we're going to be running with this offense over here. So let's share screen over here. Okay, let's take a look at this over here. What do we got, Frankie? That's not what we want. We want something like this. All right. So here we go. So we're going to be running an RPO style offense. That's the first thing you need to understand. It's going to be very different from what we've been running the last few years. Very, very different. All the way back to LaFleur when Saleh came in. This is going to be very different. So here's a basic play. This is called the glance route. You can call this different things, but the glance route is the X over here. All right. And let's see if we can hang on a second. Well, let's do it this way so that way I can write on here. Now, this is called the glance route. The glance route is this right here. This is he's calling him the X here. This is going to be Garrett Wilson. You may have heard of him. This is their slot, and this is the other wideout. Now, we're going to be running the RPO style of offense, which means run play option. The quarterback's going to have an option for it to be a run or a pass. Now, when he looks out here, so basically what he's doing, so this is Justin Fields, the quarterback, very familiar with running RPO style offense. Now he's going to look out here and he's going to see 1, 2. He's just going to count numbers. It's very simple. If there's nobody else, especially this safety shading over here, etc., if we got numbers 1 and 2, we're good. We're throwing it. Guess who's getting the ball? Garrett Wilson. And he's going to run what's called the glance route. It also looks like a slant. Same difference. In this offense is called the glance route. And anybody talking about offenses needs to be talking about glance routes and other sort of language that's used in an RPO style offense. Otherwise, they don't know what they're talking about. And I'm just learning it. I'm not an expert. You know, there's a lot of people more expert than me, but at least I'm learning it. Now, what does this have to do with Arian Smith? Well, guess in this diagram who Arian Smith is. It's this guy here. Now, what happens here, Fields looks out. If he doesn't have any double teams out here, the ball's going to Garrett Wilson. And what's going to happen is we need Arian Smith to run straight at this defender's face and keep going. So basically, we just need Smith to be fast. Is he fast? Yes, he is. One of the fastest players in the whole draft. Oh. And all he's doing is taking this defensive back out of the play to clear the space for Garrett. As soon as that happens, Fields just going to look out here and boom, throw it right here. No problem. Because he knows he doesn't have any safety to worry about. This linebacker's going to be crashing here. We're going to talk about him in a second. And so it's a very easy read. And all you need is this guy to run very fast at this guy and clear him out. That's all you need. Now, the other thing about this is this is called a Flot G route. FLOTG. What the hell is that, Frankie? It stands for the love of the game. For the love of the game. This receiver will never, ever, ever on this play get the ball. Never, ever. 0% chance. But we need him to run the route like he might, because you got to make this guy think he might. But we know it's a for the love of the game route. And so you want a guy who's super fast, but also who's just kind of happy to be out there, and he's not going to be crying about, hey, why don't I get the ball? So Arian Smith in that regard is kind of perfect, as long as he can stay healthy. And when we do throw him the ball, catch it. But in this scenario, this guy will never, ever get the ball. And I bet you there's a lot of routes and a lot of plays in our playbook where you need a for the love of the game route runner. And Arian Smith is perfect for that. Because the faster you get onto this defensive back, the better. Because then he starts to clear out quicker. We want this person to get on him as fast as possible, so that way this guy starts backtracking, gets the hell out of there, opens up all the space in the world for Garrett. Boom, he gets it. So all you really need is a super fast guy who's not going to complain that he's not going to get the ball, and just to run the route earnestly and not dog it, and just know you're not getting the ball, homie, but we need you to just run real fast right at this guy. And so I think that's one of the things that AG and Muji were looking at when they said, well, let's go get this Smith guy. It's a reach, but we really need the speed. And he was the fastest one available. They reached, and it may work out, it may not, I don't know. But I think this is what they're thinking. And so now the rest of the play, this is how it looks on paper. Now using this VR headset thing, we're going to go in here a little bit. So you can see how it looks on the field, right? This is going to be Fields. Here's Arian Smith. Here's Garrett Wilson. And he just looks out here. Now, if this guy starts shading over here, what happens? Well, then this guy's going to get a handoff probably, depending on what this guy does, really. But if this guy starts shading over here, or this guy, you start getting an indication he might, then we're not passing it. We're not passing it. We're only passing it if we get numbers, and those numbers are 1, 2, and we're going to take 1 out, and 2's getting the ball. Very simple. And if we don't have the numbers, we're not throwing it. We're running it. And if this guy is going to crash down, then we're not giving it to him because he's going to come this way. And if we see the linebacker crashing down, or the E-mole, this is called the E-mole, the end man of the line of scrimmage. If he's crashing, we're not handing it off. We're going to have a mesh point right here. And if he crashes, guess what? Fields takes it and runs this way. And he's elite at that. And if this guy stays and pauses his feet, starts pausing over here, then he is getting it, and he goes over here. Boom. And if we look at this, this is what it looks like to the quarterback. This is using the VR technology here to see what does it really look like for my quarterback. This is the pre-snap. Let's get it here. Okay, so this is what Fields is looking at right here, and it's very simple. This is Fields' hand right here. Okay, this is the running back, and he's going to put it in his belly, and he's just looking at this guy. Now he already knows if he's throwing it or not. For example, based on the numbers on the outside, he knows, is he going to throw it or not? You just have to wait for Smith to clear his guy. If they bring numbers over to that side to take that away, then we're not throwing it out there, and it's either going to be a handoff or it's going to be a quarterback run. And that is going to be determined by this man. So really all Fields has to do on a lot of these plays is he just has to read numbers and read what one guy's doing, read his keys essentially. And whatever they do, you do the opposite. That's the beauty of the RPO offense. And that's really it. That's the type of offense we're running. We need some sacrificial lambs in this offense. Arian Smith is really just a sacrificial lamb. Probably the same thing goes for Tyler Johnson, even though he's not as fast. It's the same idea. Just need somebody to be a sacrificial lamb out there who can run and who's happy to play and isn't going to be demanding the ball like Devontae Adams or one of these high highfalutin wide receivers who want the ball all the time. Tyler Johnson doesn't care how many times he gets thrown the ball. He's just happy to be on the field. Same thing with Arian Smith. So when you're looking at these roles that we have available in this particular offense, the RPO offense that Fields is going to be running, you have to understand we need people who are going to play those roles. We don't necessarily need things that you would need if you're running the Aaron Rodgers offense. You need things that are going to be valuable to the Justin Fields offense. So there you go, RPO install. One of the ways I think we're going to use Arian Smith, I think we'll also use him on jet sweeps and other things like that. We could also use him on kickoffs, for example, not punt returns probably, but kickoffs would be an interesting way to use Arian Smith's speed, for example. But there you go. There you have it. And that's what we do on this channel. Sometimes we're looking at analytics. Sometimes we're looking at game film. Sometimes we're looking at playbooks. We try to cover the waterfront. If you think that's valuable, why don't you just join the inner circle? We now have the $1.99 option. We have the $4.99 option. We got the $9.99 option. 3 different options for you to choose from. Think about it. Why not? All right. See you next time.
Non-pertinent. How do you log that non-pertinent?
No drug talk?
They use codes to hide their patron phone numbers. And when someone does use a phone, they don't use names. And if someone does use a name, he's reminded not to. All of that is valuable evidence.
Of what?
Conspiracy.
Conspiracy?
We're building something here, Detective. We're building it from scratch. All the pieces matter.